The Pathfinder, Chapter 2, The Spark, the day something inside him woke up. By then, he had a job, a schedule, a check, a reason to get up before the sun. Most folks would have called that progress, and maybe it was, but somewhere between the coffee steam, the breakfast rush, and the same clocked-in mornings, he started feeling it, a quiet restlessness sitting behind his ribs. Everything around him looked regular. Only thing was, something inside him knew regular wasn't the whole story. Most folks only saw a young man working, coffee pouring, orders moving, counters getting wiped down before the next rush rolled in. From the outside, it looked like he was doing what he was supposed to do. And he was, but somewhere between the register, the breakfast bags, and the steam rising off the machines, a question kept leaning on his spirit. He couldn't name it yet. He just knew a paycheck could hold a life together without ever touching the deeper part of why he was here. On break, the world kept moving like it always did. Cars rolled past, folks drifted in and out, time kept punching the clock. From the outside, he looked like any other young man killing a few minutes with a phone in his hand. But deep down, he wasn't just scrolling, he was searching. Even if he didn't have the words for what he was looking for yet, a quiet hunger had started living in him, a restlessness, a feeling that life had more behind it than what most people could see. He couldn't explain it then, he just knew something in him was awake enough to feel the difference. Growing up don't always sound like wisdom. Sometimes it sounds like silence where certain laughs used to be. Folks he once called every day had started becoming memories in motion. Some changed, some drifted, some stayed close long enough to turn strange. That's how life do sometimes. It keeps walking, and not everybody walks with you. By then, he was learning that losing people ain't always about beef. Sometimes it's just what happens when your spirits start heading somewhere they can't follow yet. Before the books had ever reached him, people had already been teaching. Some through loyalty, some through betrayal. Some smiled in his face till life pulled the mask down. Some hearts he held close turned cold when the seasons changed. And love had his own lessons too, the kind that leave you quiet for a while. By then, his eyes had started carrying the look only pain can write. Not bitterness, just understanding. That's how life schooled him first, through false friends, broken trust, and the ache of seeing people different once you know better. By then, making it through the week had become its own kind of hustle. Not the loud kind, the kind built out of early shifts, side moves, tired feet, and bills that kept coming. He was learning how to stretch a dollar, hold himself together, and keep showing up even when life felt heavy. From the outside, it just looked like a young man handling business, but inside, something bigger kept tapping on him. Like survival was only the shell of a life, and somewhere beneath it, a deeper purpose was waiting to be called by name. Some nights got quiet enough for him to hear what the daytime kept drowning out. Out there, under them street lights, with the hood still breathing all around him, he started feeling it stronger. That pulled towards something he couldn't explain. He ain't had a language for it yet, ain't know what to call it. He just knew there was more in him than the life he'd been living. Like something sacred had been sitting behind his ribs the whole time, waiting on him to notice. And little by little, that feeling stopped being a whisper. It didn't happen with thunder. It didn't come with no warning bells either. Just a quiet scroll through the night. And then that title stopped him cold. The Black Woman is God. Something in him stood up when he read it. Like his spirit had been waiting on a voice bold enough to say what the world around him never did. And that little screen turned into a doorway. And from that night forward, he wasn't just watching videos, he was waking up. Once the first video cracked something open in him, he kept digging. Night after night, he found himself sitting with voices from another time. Old lectures, old tapes, melanated men and women speaking like they already knew the questions living inside them. Culture, science, spirit, metaphysics, ancestors, knowledge of self. They wasn't talking at him, they was reaching him. Like pieces of his spirit had been waiting on somebody to say these things out loud. And the more he listened, the more the world around him stopped looking random. It started feeling layered. By then, the room around him started changing because he was changing. Books stayed open. Notes kept stacking up. Old lectures turned into late night rituals. Ancestors, ancient world, symbols, spirit, knowledge of self. What used to look random now started feeling connected. He wasn't all the way there yet, but he wasn't who he used to be either. The world he had cracked open in front of him, and for the first time, he could feel that life was deeper than what he had been handed. Something in him was waking up to the layers.